dental school review. I think this is gonna be the first video I upload onto this channel, so hello, my name is Karina, and I am a current first year dental student, which I will refer to as D1 now and probably in the rest of my videos if I make any other videos. I'm studying at the Dental College of Georgia at Augusta University. It's about 2.5 hours east of Atlanta. Today is July 21st, 2020. It's week 3 of dental school, day 12 of classes. I really wanted to talk about my experience going to dental school and this whole quarantine thing. I am someone who's used to school coming naturally to me. I never really had to try hard. I'm also really lazy. If I had to sum up dental school in a nutshell, it's hard. I don't think anything could really prepare you for it unless you're super hardcore and from the beginning you're really on top of your stuff. And I know there are some people out there super type A. They can do whatever as long as they put their mind to it. A lot of energy, a lot of motivation. Yeah, I'm not like that. I'm sure most people aren't like that. I had my second exam of fall semester today. I had my first exam yesterday. Yeah, so for context, I'm a cell and molecular bio major in undergrad. I came from a pipeline program that was designed to prep us academically for dental school. I applied to this BS DMD program. For college, I applied in my senior year of high school, and I got in miraculously. So it's a condensed program. We do 3 years of undergrad and then 4 years of dental school, but we don't get our bachelor's degree until after our first year of dental school because we still haven't fulfilled all of the requirements, the credit hour requirements. One of these requirements is biochemistry. I and all of the other people who got accepted into this program never took biochem formally. We're currently taking it right now. We're taking both biochem 1 and biochem 2 concurrently. Biomedical Foundations 1. It's basically biochem, but less specialized. We don't have to remember structures. Since I'm a cell bio major, I already have a leg up against people who aren't necessarily bio or chem or really STEM majors. I don't want to say that I'm necessarily better than them because that's not true. It's not true at all. But a lot of the material that we covered for the past couple weeks that was on the exam is very familiar. There's of course new things that I've never seen before, but still the bulk of the material is familiar. But it's just a lot of things, the volume of things that we need to know. Not dense. It's not necessarily hard for me. It's just a really big pool of material that professors can pull questions from. So I guess the class that I took that prepared me for Biomedical Foundations 1 is regular cellular biology. We had to learn all the steps of glycolysis and Krebs cycle and oxidative phosphorylation and all that good stuff. It showed up again. We had to memorize all the amino acids. I know I never did, and it really bit me in the butt in cell bio, but it actually is not biting me too much in the butt right now because we don't need to know structures. Back then we did have to know structures and I never memorized them. So for Biomedical Foundations 2, which I'm also currently taking, that's more evolution, microbiology. It's not too bad so far, but at the same time, we haven't had an exam for it yet. We only have class for that once a week, whereas for Foundations 1, we have class I don't know, 5 times a week, 2-hour lectures. That's 10 hours a week of lecture. Exams hard. I didn't know what to expect. They gave us a lot of details. Of course they told us not to remember the nitty gritty. Don't memorize every single enzyme. So the exam that we had yesterday was for a nutrition class, which I mean, it's nutrition, right? You would think that nutrition is like, oh, it's obvious, it's common sense. Like, all you have to do is eat well, limit your fats, limit your sugar intake, limit your cholesterol, sodium, get your veggies, fruits, fibers in, and all that good stuff. Exercise, like cancer, like the number one leading type of cancer in the US is lung and bronchus cancer. Stuff like that, like random factoids. Like, you would think that'd be easy, but I don't know, man. Like, it was actually a lot harder than I thought, especially hearing from upperclassmen, like D2s, D3s. They said that the first exam was common sense, which, by the way, that first exam is a midterm, 50% of our grade. Our final exam is next Thursday, so we'd be done with a class in literally 4 weeks, which is interesting. It's a very different concept to me. I'm sure it's a very wild concept to people who haven't been to professional school. I don't think I can disclose like exact wording of questions, but the questions that were asked were very particular. Also, because we're in quarantine, we have to take exams, and of course, like, they don't want us to violate ethical integrity, the honor code, and everything. So we have to be monitored by a webcam, and that's pretty nuts to me. Like, of course, it makes sense. It's nuts in the sense that I'm way more anxious knowing that I'm being recorded while taking an exam. I always feel like everything I do is wrong. Like, sometimes I talk to myself while taking exams, or I would look up, like, staring in thought. Even right now, when I think about what I'm saying, I'm looking, like, not at the camera, I'm looking at other places. That's exactly what I do during exams. So having a camera on me and seeing where my eyes go, seeing what I do with my hands, like, oh my god, I had to count on my hands, like, to do math during the nutrition exam. It was not good. I felt very nervous. I felt very nervous about this morning's exam. Like, it was already hard material, and just having that, like, constant watchful eye just really sucks. I know I'd rather have a traditional in-person proctored exam. I know that's not possible now because of social distancing concerns and stuff, but I really wish that it could be like that. Also, online lectures, they kind of suck. Like, the material of it is probably exactly the same as lectures would be if they were conducted in person, but I know it's, like, super easy for me to get distracted, for my mind to wander and drift, and that's already easy enough just being in a classroom. Being in my dorm and having to listen to lectures and pay attention while I have so many other things at my disposal, like, oh, I could be doing dishes, or I could be on my phone. Nobody's looking at me. I'm not required to have my webcam on. I'm supposed to mute my microphone, otherwise that would create, like, unnecessary feedback. So all of that just makes it really hard to concentrate, really hard to absorb that information, like how I'm used to when being in person for lecture. Also, I have a habit of responding to yes or no questions non-verbally. I'll nod my head, shake my head, whenever I don't understand something, or whenever professor asks, are we good? Like, do we understand, or are there any questions? Like, that's just a habit I built up, and I'm sure most of you have also built up if you're a student, like traditional student, just listening in lecture. You don't want to make any noise to be distracting, so you just nod, shake your head, do other nonverbal cues that signal to the professor that you're listening, or you're confused, or you really get this material. And just having your webcam off, being on mute, it just isn't the same. It's really awkward to have to unmute yourself just to say, like, a one-word answer, like yes, no, and then muting yourself immediately after. And I feel really bad, but, like, if they say, oh, are we good? Are there any questions? Like, I don't want to speak on behalf of the entire class and say, oh, we're good, because I don't know if we're good, and want to, like, not cut anybody off, you know? I guess that's just my overall review, my impressions of, like, the didactic portion of dental school. I guess I could talk about lab portion in another video. I don't know, I feel like I've already had a lot to say in this video. Quick TLDR summary, just a lot of hand skills. Like, you don't have to put any brain power in it, so I really like it because it's just like looking at things. It's very relaxing, very cool. First world problems, you know? Like, I know that I'm in a good position. I know that I've been in a good position ever since I got accepted to a 7-year program here that allows me to just go to dental school right after undergrad and not have to worry about applying and stuff. Like conditional acceptance, that's sweet, man. We love that. I don't know. Like, there are just a lot of things that make dental school like way less traditional now than it ever has been. Like having online didactic lectures, only going to school physically 3 days a week, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week of straight classes. It hits different. Like, it's not like, oh, you're doing your routine, you're going to work, you're going to school. You have to get up and you have to force yourself to do all of these things while you're still in the comfort of your own room or in your own home. Having done my undergrad studies at the undergrad portion of Augusta University, I think has really prepared me for the types of classes that I will be encountering here, at least in the didactic portion. They really have their program on lock, so I highly recommend it if you know that you want to go into dentistry. Or even if you're like interested in medicine, they have a BSMD program, 7 years as well. It's a straight pipeline to med school. It's basically the same undergrad education that I received. I don't know like how it'll reflect in med school. I don't think I'll ever know unless I hear from other people. They do take way more in-state students than out-of-state. I think out of my 30 student cohort of BSMD and BSDMD students combined, there are only 2 people who came from out of state. So definitely keep that in mind when you're applying. If you're applying, does anybody have any idea of what they're gonna do now that this pandemic thing is happening? Like, does anybody have any plans for the future? Dark joke, sorry. But yeah. Thanks for listening. Peace out, and maybe I'll make another video. Maybe, possibly. Okay, see ya.